What is going on? I am Don't Give Bit over at My Xbox Me, where we break down the Xbox news that you want to know. So if you enjoy that and you do want to stay informed each and every week, make sure you hit the subscribe button. That way you can check out the new videos. We got less than a week before the Series X is actually in our hands. Next gen is here. So of course we got to talk about what are we going to be playing day one. Well, first up, of course, we have Yakuza Like a Dragon. Yakuza Like a Dragon is a departure from the traditional Yakuza series, as made clear by the lack of 7 in its title. The game focuses on kind-hearted protagonist Kasuga Ichiban and his exploits in the Yakuza. Now, Yakuza Like a Dragon switches from the traditional arcade beat-em-up combat style in favor of an RPG turn-based combat system, drastically shifting the flow of the game. Now, if early reviews are any indicator, it seems like the change was well received. Speaking of reviews, make sure to check out myxboxandme.com, where we have our review up for Yakuza Like a Dragon. And spoiler alert, we love it. Now, Yakuza Like a Dragon has already come out to be a sleeper hit. Early reviews are already showing that critics really enjoy this game. I really do believe that this is going to be the sleeper hit for the Series X, and it's honestly a great launch title to have. Not only does it bolster that bond with Xbox and its Japanese audience, it also introduces a lot of Western audiences day one to a Japanese franchise that's really loved. This may actually be one of the best case scenarios. Xbox not having its tentpole title with Halo, but having Yakuza Like a Dragon, which is already well received, introducing new audiences to new games, bolstering that Japanese relations, and overall giving the player about 60 hours of gameplay day one on their Xbox Series X. Can't wait for everybody to give this one a try. Next up, we have Gears Tactics. Gears Tactics is a fast-paced turn-based strategy game set 12 years before the first Gears of War. Similar to other turn-based strategy games like XCOM, you will control a small squad of cogs as you battle with dangerous threat that is the Locust Horde. Now, those that have not played Gears Tactics on the PC are in for an amazing treat. While Gears Tactics is a strong departure from the action-packed third-person shooter that is Gears 5, it is one that feels like it's always been part of the Gears universe. Somehow, that atmosphere lends perfectly to a turn-based strategy game. If you haven't done so yet, be sure to pre-download this one, as it is a must-play for anyone that is a fan of Gears. Now, I do say that wholeheartedly. I am a huge fan of turn-based strategies, and those that enjoy XCOM or Wasteland 3 will find themselves diving into this game and absolutely loving it. Next game we have is Dirt 5. Dirt 5 is the next-gen racing game focused on off-road racing. Varying its gameplay over multiple disciplines of off-road racing, the game includes rallycross, ice racing, stadium super trucks, off-road buggies, and more. Players can compete in events in a wide range of locales, including Arizona, Brazil, Morocco, China, Italy, New York, and Norway. One of the major boasting points of Dirt 5 is the ability to play the game in 120 frames. Early reviews have been showing a positive reception for the game, and if you are curious on our impressions of the game, be sure to check out some of our other videos. Now, like with most next-gen launches, racing games are usually there to showcase the capabilities of the console. Dirt 5 is no exception to that rule. With the ability to go in 120 frames or play 4K 60, the game is really showcasing exactly how strong the Series X is supposed to be. Now, next up we have Gears 5. Now, Gears 5 is no question an old game, but even an old game gets a fresh new coat of paint, and honestly, this paint is lovely. There's been a slight graphical update, giving the visuals that extra bump that they needed. The frame rate has been boosted up, and the overall performance across the game is better. Both the campaign and multiplayer modes have been given some extra content, and honestly, this is just a great experience overall. The multiplayer community is still very high on Gears 5, and if you've been looking for a reason to jump back into the game, now you have it. And on top of that, Gears 5 is crossplay with those on PC, so that's just perfect. Next up, we have Devil May Cry 5 Special Edition. Now, Devil May Cry is another game that came out earlier this generation, but it's gotten another fresh coat of paint. 120 frames, a new playable character, Virgil. This special edition is the perfect reason to dive back into this game. And if you did not get a chance to play Devil May Cry 5 because of the other games that came out this generation, this is a perfect time. This game is fantastic, well received by reviews, and it is a great action-packed game to have day one on the Series X. And of course, we have other honorable mentions. We have our Call of Duty Cold War that'll be coming out the day after Series X. We have Bright Memory to hold you off until Bright Memory Infinite comes out a little bit later. That way you can get that full experience. There's also Tetris Effect Connected, a great puzzle multiplayer game that's going to be sure to burn tons and tons of time. There's also Fortnite that's receiving a huge graphical update as well as ray tracing capabilities. And of course, if none of those satisfy you, there's always backwards compatibility and Game Pass as a whole. One of the biggest boasting points is the fact that it doesn't matter what you play. There's great stuff to be played day one, but there's also stuff that you can look in the library and play. This is a great time to catch up on your backlog because your game's going to be performing better. It's not about playing old games and old games being old anymore. It's about playing old games and old games feeling new now because of the power of the Series X. So there's definitely a reason to be excited. Now, of course, coming into this generation, it's very important that we actually look at everything Xbox has done in order to set itself apart from the competition. We're now coming into the Series X with Game Pass, xCloud, a remote option to play your games on your mobile devices. We're talking about the accessibility controller for those that don't have the ability to hold a traditional controller. Also, quick expandable storage, backwards compatibility. There's so many things that are there that coming into the Series X doesn't feel painful at all. Even if our tentpole title Halo is not there day one, we have a reason to buy it. 1, for future proofing, 2, backwards compatibility, 3, Game Pass. It's just all these things are there for you. Now you do have the option of staying with the Xbox One or the Xbox One X or even the Xbox Series X, and there's nothing wrong with that either. But for the first time, we can go into a new generation and not feel like we're hurt or we're leaving behind a whole group of games that we can't play anymore. Or if you want to stay in the previous gen, you can feel confident knowing that you have time and all your progress will carry over into the next gen. So right now is a great time to be an Xbox fan. We're all extremely excited about next week to get our hands on the Series X, and I want to know, what game are you going to be playing day one? I know for myself, I'm probably going to be diving back into Yakuza, Like a Dragon, as well as Gears 5. So if you enjoyed the video, be sure to hit the thumbs up and let us know down in the comment section below. And can't wait until next week until we get our hands on that box. I don't know if that's appropriate. You know what I meant though.